The Hound of the Baskervilles. One of Sherlock Holmes's habits was not telling anyone his full plans. Until the last moment. This was partly because he liked to surprise people, and partly because he was careful in his work. This made it hard for his helpers, including me. I felt this most during a long, dark drive. We were close to a big challenge, but Holmes said nothing, so I could only guess what he would do. When the cold wind and the dark moor appeared, I felt nervous but excited. We were near our big adventure. The driver of our hired wagonette was with us, so we had to talk about small things, even though we felt tense. I was glad when we passed Franklin's house and got closer to Merripit House. We stopped near the gate, paid the driver, and started walking. I asked Lestrade if he had a weapon. He smiled and said yes. Holmes and I were also ready. Lestrade asked Holmes what we were doing. Holmes said, "We are waiting." Lestrade looked around and said it was a dark and scary place. We saw lights in a house ahead. "That is Merripit House," Holmes said. "We must walk quietly and not talk loudly." We moved carefully toward the house, but Holmes stopped us about 200 yards away. He said the rocks on the right would hide us. "We will wait here," he said. Holmes asked if I knew the house. I said yes. I told him the windows at one end were the kitchen, and the bright window was the dining room. He told Lestrade to watch quietly and see what the people inside were doing. I crept closer and looked through the kitchen window. Inside were two men, Sir Henry and Stapleton. They were smoking and drinking coffee and wine. Stapleton was talking a lot, but Sir Henry looked worried. Maybe he was thinking about walking alone on the moor. Stapleton left the room, and Sir Henry filled his glass again. I heard a door open and footsteps on the gravel path. I saw a man enter an outhouse in the orchard. He locked the door behind him, and there were strange sounds inside. After a minute, he left and went back into the house. I went back to tell Holmes and Lestrade what I saw. Holmes asked if the lady was there. I said no. Holmes wondered where she could be, since only the kitchen had lights on. A thick white fog was moving toward us. It looked like a shining ice field with dark rocks. Holmes watched the fog and said it was a big problem for our plan. The fog could cover the path soon. If the man we waited for did not come before the fog arrived, it could be very dangerous. It was already 10 o'clock. The night was clear, with stars and a half moon. The house looked dark and big against the sky. Light came from the windows. Suddenly, the kitchen light went out. The servants had left. Only the lamp in the dining room stayed on. The two men were still talking. The fog moved closer to the house. It covered the orchard wall and the trees. The fog surrounded the house, making it look like a ship on a white sea. Holmes was impatient. He said if the man did not come in 15 minutes, the path would be covered. In 30 minutes, it would be impossible to see anything. I asked if we should move back to higher ground. Holmes said yes, so we moved half a mile away. The fog kept coming slowly. Holmes said we were going too far. We must stay where we were because if the man was caught in the fog before reaching us, it would be bad. Holmes knelt down and listened to the ground. We heard quick steps on the moor. We hid behind some stones and watched carefully. Through the fog, a man appeared. He looked surprised to see the clear night sky. He walked fast along the path, passing very close to us. He kept looking behind him nervously. "Be quiet," Holmes whispered, and got his pistol ready. Then we heard a soft sound from the fog. The fog was very close now. We waited, not knowing what would come next. I looked at Holmes. His face was pale but excited. Suddenly, his eyes stared wide and his mouth opened in surprise. Lestrade screamed and fell down. I stood up quickly, holding my pistol, frozen by what I saw. A huge black dog appeared. It was not an ordinary dog. Fire came from its mouth. Its eyes and fur were shining with flames. It was the most terrible and frightening thing I had ever seen. The big dog ran down the path after the man. We were so shocked that we let the man go. Then Holmes and I fired our guns. The dog howled in pain but kept running. Far away, we saw Sir Henry looking back, scared and helpless. The dog's painful cry gave us hope. Holmes ran very fast after it. I ran too, but he was faster. We heard Sir Henry scream and the dog roar. I saw the dog jump on Sir Henry and bite his throat. Holmes fired 5 shots at the dog's side. The dog screamed, rolled on its back, and then stopped moving. It was dead. Sir Henry was unconscious where he fell. We took off his collar. Holmes was thankful that he was not seriously hurt. Sir Henry slowly opened his eyes. Lestrade gave him brandy. Sir Henry whispered, "What was that?" "What was it?" Holmes said. "It is dead. We have ended the family ghost." The dead dog was very big and strong. It looked like a mix of 2 dog breeds. Its jaws and eyes still seemed to burn with blue fire. I touched its mouth and my fingers glowed too. Holmes said the dog's fire was caused by a special chemical. He apologized to Sir Henry for the danger. He said the fog made it hard to fight the dog. Sir Henry thanked Holmes for saving his life. Holmes asked if Sir Henry could stand. Sir Henry said he needed more brandy first. We helped him sit on a rock. Holmes said he must rest. We had more work to do, and we needed to find the man we were chasing. We went back quickly to the house. The front door was open. We looked in every room but did not find the man. Upstairs, a bedroom door was locked. Lestrade heard a noise inside. "One post." Holmes kicked the door open with his pistol ready. We rushed in, but we did not find the villain. Instead, we saw a strange sight. The room was like a small museum with glass cases full of butterflies and moths. In the middle was a wooden post. A figure was tied to it, wrapped in sheets. We could not tell if it was a man or a woman. The figure's face was covered, but 2 dark eyes looked at us, full of pain and shame. We quickly freed her. It was Mrs. Boss's, Stapleton. She fell to the floor, weak. We saw a red mark on her neck from a whip. Holmes shouted, "The cruel man!" "Lestrade, give her some brandy. Help her sit." She fainted because of the pain and tiredness. She opened her eyes and asked, "Is he safe?" "Did he escape?" Holmes said. "He can't escape us." "No, I mean Sir Henry." "Thank God." "Oh, this villain. Look at how he hurt me." She showed her bruised arms. "But that is not the worst. He has hurt my mind and soul. I could handle pain and loneliness if I believed he loved me. Now I know I was only his tool," she cried. Holmes said, "You do not like him. Tell us where he is." "There is an old tin mine on an island in the middle of the swamp. He kept his dog there and made a safe place for himself. That is where he would go." The fog was like white wool against the window. Holmes held the lamp to show it. "Look," he said. Her eyes shone brightly. "He might find his way in, but never out," she said. We planted them together to mark the path. Oh, if only I had taken them away today. Then you could have caught him. We knew that chasing him was useless until the fog lifted. We left Lestrade at the house, while Holmes and I took Sir Henry back to Baskerville Hall. Sir Henry had to learn the truth about the Stapletons. He was sad but brave. The night's events shocked him, and he became very ill. Dr. Mortimer cared for him. Sir Henry would travel with the doctor to get well again. Now I come to the end of this strange story. I wanted you to feel our fears and doubts that lasted so long and ended sadly. The morning after the dog died, the fog lifted. Stapleton showed us a path through the swamp. We saw how happy she was to lead us to her husband's trail. She stood on a small piece of firm land that stretched into the swamp. Small sticks showed the way through the swamp plants and muddy pools. The swamp smelled bad. Sometimes we fell into deep, soft mud that pulled at our legs. It felt like the swamp wanted to pull us down forever. Once Holmes almost sank in mud to his waist. We pulled him out. He held an old black boot. "It's worth the mud," he said. "It's Sir Henry's missing boot." "Stapleton threw it away while running," I said. "Yes, he had it when he sent the dog after Sir Henry. He ran holding it and dropped it here. We know he got this far safely. We never found out more." The swamp covered any footsteps quickly. When we reached firm ground, we looked carefully for tracks, but found none. If the earth told the truth, Stapleton never reached the island where he wanted to hide. He is probably buried forever in the swamp's dark mud. We found many signs of him on the island where he kept his dog. There was an old wheel and a shaft filled with rubbish from a closed mine. Old miners' houses were falling down, likely empty because of the swamp's bad smell. In one house, a chain and some gnawed bones showed where the dog stayed. We found a skeleton with brown hair among the ruins. "A dog," said Holmes. "A curly-haired spaniel. Poor Mortimer will never see his pet again." "I don't think this place holds any secrets we don't already know. Even though he could hide the dog but not its voice. That's why we heard those strange cries, even in daylight. He kept the dog in a small house at Merripit sometimes. It was dangerous, and he only did it on the last day. It scared old Sir Charles and many others. No wonder people ran away screaming when they saw it. It was a clever trick. The dog was meant to frighten people and maybe kill the victim. That we never hunted a more dangerous man than the one buried out there." Holmes pointed to the big swamp.